You're watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans. Make sure you subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and push the like button for me.
Or else you'll be Hakai.
Not Beerus.
You know how this works. Make sure you enable all notifications on the channel and watch the entire video all the way through.
And don't forget to follow UnrealEntGaming on both Instagram and Twitter.
That's enough. On with the video.
So with Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 89 now lingering over the horizon, scheduled to be released in English on January 19th, we finally now have additional information, spoilers, leaks, and images as to what is to be expected going into this manga chapter, specifically with everything that Toyotaro had promised during his recent interview by having the chapter be mainly centered around Trunks, to which with Dr. Hedo now pursuing the boys in trying to find out who they are, the million-dollar question going forward is, will this be the essential manga chapter that shows us how Dr. Hedo had winded up in prison, and are we bound to see anything else transpire on Beerus' planet as both Vegeta and Goku now continue their training for Black Frieza? As a quick little reminder before we dive deeper into this video, if you just so happen to be new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with everything in regards to both the Dragon Ball Super manga and any and all things involving the Dragon Ball IP, then I do encourage you all to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, so that way you can always be up to date and notified as to whenever a brand new video is posted onto the channel, on top of supporting this channel by giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below if you guys simply cannot wait and are excited to see what's about to unfold as Dragon Ball Super continues, because the following Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 89 spoilers, leaks, and images courtesy of both DBS Hype and Herms98 on Twitter goes as follows. Now, as of course you guys can see here on your screen, while going as far as to showcase his basketball skills on the court, it looks like Trunks' rival is going to be from none other than the upcoming new kid Beta in his school, because while particularly trying to get Mai's attention, Beta just swoops in by stealing the ball from him. We've seen our heroes play various different games before, including baseball, so to now get basketball I think is a really cool thing, but it looks like Beta ends up crossing Trunks and laying up one on him, as of course you guys can see, and all of this, mind you, happens while Trunks is trying to get Mai's attention. So although it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball because you have two kids, one of course being an android, yes, Beta is an android, and with one being a Saiyan such as Trunks being shown playing a game of basketball, it's different, I think it's unique, but if it doesn't end up serving a purpose in the long term, then what's the point, right? However, all of this is to basically showcase and baiting out Trunks' abilities here, because even while they're playing basketball, it's not as though Beta isn't keeping track of Trunks, because this ends up turning into a Space Jam game real quick, because with Trunks being shown turning his head, at first glance with the position that Beta ends up taking here, you would assume that, okay, is he going to go Ultra Instinct or something? But this whole time while this is going down and with Trunks being shown frustrated, Beta's eyes are actually cameras this entire time, because Beta is actually recording footage of everything that Trunks is doing, including showing off his skills in Blue Hall High School, because as of course you guys can see, this was the exact moment that Dr. Hedo had now learned about the fact that Trunks really isn't just an ordinary student, and with the other alpha androids having to observe this, they're trying to figure out if this is the same kid that busted up in their factory and took them all out. And when then going back inside of Blue Hall High School, as of course you guys can see, if you guys go back and remember the old video game called Bully from Rockstar, these are the vibes that I'm getting after having to see this, because this kid Beta is trying to do everything within his own ability to get under Trunks' skin. He ends up throwing this football, Trunks ducks under to kind of tie his shoe, the football ends up ricocheting off the walls and coincidentally hitting him. Later on we see them in lunch here, to where once again Beta is trying to make Trunks' life miserable here, and all of this is to serve the purpose to note that without them having to realize yet, Beta is working for Dr. Hedo this entire time, which Mai is kind of the first person to pick up on something very unusual about this kid, because as of course you guys can see here, what Mai ends up noticing in class is that this kid looks like he has a stitched up neck, which is very oddly unusual for a student, student, because what kind of a student would have anything stitched onto their body that kind of sticks out, you know? So this was something to take note of, as Trunks even realizes this later on, because now Trunks remembers exactly where this is from, because Alpha, the giant android that he had fought with in the factory, also had similar pieces of what Trunks saw stitched onto his body as well. So Trunks kind of immediately knew what the deal was, and it was only afterwards, to which, as of course you guys can see here, Beta ends up putting on this suit and pretending to be like the super villain, and immediately ends up going after Goten, which from that point then prompts Trunks into stepping into action, because he sees that Goten is quote in trouble even though he's not. So without kind of giving away his identity, he looks over onto his watch and kind of goes as far as to distract Mai by letting her know that, hey, I gotta go, but I'll be right back, because he obviously doesn't want to give away his identity, and revealing to her that he in fact is Saiyaman X1, which to that we do have a brief summary synopsis courtesy of DBS Hype over on Twitter, as the following summary for the upcoming manga chapter goes as follows. Chapter 89, Arrival appears. The chapter opens with Trunks trying to see the contents of the disc that he had found a few days earlier during Mount Butterfly's incident. After numerous failed attempts of bypassing the security, Trunks decides to use Bulma's computer to access the disc, but the computer ends up catching a security virus, as Trunks wanted to dig deeper in finding out the information that was on the disc, to which Bulma arrives with Bra and catches Trunks, who had now broken her entire computer. So Bulma now says that Trunks had now inherited Vegeta's talent in breaking all of her things, as in the meantime, little Bra ends up walking on over and fixes the computer and saves it from the virus attack, which goes as far as to showcase that Bra takes up more of Bulma's talent in being the smart one in the family, while Trunks kinda just appears to be more like his father in this case. So Bulma then informs Trunks that Mai is going to be joining the Blue Hall High School as well, and that she wants them to go to school together. So Trunks' happiness knows no bounds as he ends up walking Mai to school. Every one of his classmates that are the boys end up noticing and running over towards Mai to get a chance to talk to her, but Trunks ends up shooting all of them away, as the reason why Bulma made Mai join the high school in the first place is because she didn't want people to come up with strange rumors about her that have anything to do with quote child labor laws to begin with. And we later then see how, as they're attending class, a new student ends up arriving and introduces himself as Beta, which during the next period in PE class, Trunks and the others are shown playing basketball, with Trunks showing off his extraordinary skills on the court, to which results in Beta having to intervene, as Trunks uses his super speed to block Beta from scoring the goal, as everyone who was watching was surprised to see Trunks cover so much ground within an instant so quickly, to which even then, despite his speed, Beta was still shown having to score a layup on Trunks, in which as a close-up shot of Beta's eyes reveal that he has been transmitting the video feed on over to a computer at Dr. Hedo's new hideout near the port, to which Dr. Hedo himself and the other alpha androids are all watching this on their video feed. Seeing Trunks' super speed, Dr. Hedo asks the alpha android if Trunks is the guy who beat him and stole the disc, as they all remember that it is a blonde kid instead. So obviously referencing that of Super Saiyan, Dr. Hedo sighs and regrets not installing surveillance cameras around Butterfly Mountain's factory, as the only clues that they have are the fact that these humans possess superhuman strength that were able to defeat androids, to where that was when Dr. Hedo had informed Beta by telling him, quote, "You must find him, Beta number 1, as back in class, Mai keeps staring at Beta from behind, and Trunks tells Mai that Beta's goal was just a fluke, and that he'll do better by showing her next time, but Mai ends up telling him to look down, as Trunks seems confused, so Mai lets him know that Beta is not a human, as she notices a bruise on his neck. Now Trunks gets scared in seeing that, as he thinks that Beta is a ghost. Mai ends up denying this and tells him that she thinks that he is an android that is different compared to the types that 18 is, as Trunks goes on to make a self-note in understanding the fact that he also can't seem to feel any life energy coming from Beta, so he thinks that he's a friend of one of those zombies that were trying to kill him prior, which he is also then concerned of having his Saiyaman X1 identity be revealed to the public, so he tries to play it cool, as Dr. Hedo is very suspicious of Trunks to begin with, so he ends up ordering Beta 1 to check and see if Trunks has any sort of superhuman-like abilities, which ultimately prompts Beta in throwing the football at him. He tries to throw soup at him, so every little bit of action that Trunks had made to respond to Beta was noted by Dr. Hedo, as he then saw that indeed this kid does possess superhuman-like speed and abilities unlike the other students, in which a little later on, with Beta revealing that in fact he is working for Dr. Hedo, Dr. Hedo admires Saiyaman X1's strength, as he also thinks that his costume is cool, but Beta can't lose to Trunks, so he ends up telling Beta to go and use that. Now, Beta presses the button on his belt and activates his battle jacket, as Beta calls it Beta number 2, in reference to, of course, the upcoming Gammas within the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, as Beta 2 now launches a missile at Saiyaman X1, but Saiyaman X1 can't dodge it unless he is willing to have the people behind him be hit by the missile. So Trunks ends up grabbing onto the missile and diverts it out over into C, to which Trunks' kick makes Beta 2 fall onto the ground with such impact that it also ends up dropping Mai too, to which as Mai was holding on to Trunks' bag, Dr. Gero's disc ends up falling out of it due to the sheer impact of Beta 2 falling, to which that was when Dr. Hedo had finally noticed it in putting 2 and 2 together, in finally having to now realize that Trunks was Saiyaman X1 this entire time. So after Beta 2 ends up grabbing Mai, that was when Trunks was about to go save her, but Beta 2 ends up launching a series of missiles directly at Trunks and the other students, to where Trunks ends up destroying each of them, but they just keep on coming, so Beta 2 ends up leaving, which inevitably prompts Trunks in using a pressurized stream to knock Beta 2 from orbit, in which as he does so, in tearing Beta 2 completely apart, Beta, who was inside of this giant metal suit, was then being shown exposed with Trunks having to pick Mai up from the ground, which oddly enough, as she was falling with Trunks having to catch her, Mai slowly opens her eyes and sees the red scarf around Trunks' neck, and for whatever reason, this ends up reminding her so much of future Trunks, more so than anything else, as she blushes. So this obviously is tying in the romance factor between both Trunks and Mai, with Trunks having to save her, but all the while, instead of acknowledging him for who he is, she instead is having flashbacks and reminiscing about future Trunks instead. To which by the end, Dr. Hedo finally admits that he was completely lost in thinking about those cool suits, so Dr. Hedo asks Beta if he got any of their autographs, which he reminds him that they were in fact enemies, as it is clear now that Dr. Hedo is going to be targeting Saiyaman X1, Saiyaman X2, and Mai, as he will now go as far as to do anything to retrieve that disc from them, as the manga chapter ends with Dr. Hedo starting production on the next android who will be stronger and cooler than any of them, as he also had taken a liking onto Saiyaman X2's red cape, so he intends to copy that. To where by the very end of this, I want to go ahead and get your thoughts and how you guys feel down in the comment section below about not only how you personally feel about the spoilers and the upcoming manga chapter ahead, but to kind of go as far as to get everyone's overall opinion on the pacing for this arc, because there seems to be a massive divide within the fandom, with some fans calling it boring and very slow-paced, while others are genuinely more excited to see the spotlight be handed on over to other characters outside of both Goku and Vegeta. So if this arc thus far excites you, let me know down in the comment section below, or if by some chance you guys despise the arc because it's slow and it's boring, also be sure to let me know your thoughts down below and why. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and remember, we are going to be covering the entirety of this manga chapter once it is released in English on the 19th, so you guys definitely don't want to miss out on everything that's about to happen in this upcoming manga chapter. So again, I appreciate you guys for your time. Thank you all so much for being here once again, to where if of course you guys are new, then I do encourage you all to head on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, so that way you guys never miss a single video that is posted onto the channel, on top of giving this video a big fat thumbs up right now by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for much more. I appreciate you guys for being here, and with that being said, I'm going to be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy everybody and have a terrific day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.